My name is Caroll Spelke. I am the owner of My Daddy's Caddy. I'm a small luxury transportation system here in Burlington, Vermont. We transport people in a 1975 Cadillac Eldorado convertible, and it was originally my father's Cadillac. I think the most significant part about the Women's Small Business Program for me was really being in an atmosphere where other community members were also trying to do essentially the exact same thing I was doing, starting a business, essentially being faced with all the different challenges, the overwhelming emotions. It's a roller coaster of events and emotions that kind of go with the whole program, as well as just the experience of trying to start a business. So that, I think that was probably one of the most significant parts, was understanding that I had other people that I was walking through this with, and that I wasn't alone. I think the high point for me, oh man, there's a few. I think one of them was during the actual course. I think we were in Carmen's class doing financials, and it turned out that the Cadillac that I use for transportation was actually currently sitting in Denver, Colorado. And my brother had told me that the car was in storage, like in a 4-wall covered space, which turned out to actually be like a lean-to, so it wasn't actually covered. And I had to figure out storage in the state of Vermont for a 20-foot Cadillac in about a 48-hour period. And so I was essentially spending a lot of my time just scrambling that day and during the class. And I believe it was Carmen came up to me and told me this is what it's like being in a small business. You just kind of have to always put out the fires. Things come up unexpectedly. It was incredibly stressful, but it was also kind of laughable, and she helped me kind of learn to just kind of laugh at the things and kind of like be like a duck and like let the water roll off your back a little bit and not take things too seriously. And that was one of those things that it just somehow worked out. I got the car into storage by literally hours to have it properly stored for the winter time, so it wasn't being snowed on or covered in salt and ruined. So yeah, it's just, it's like a marathon with stress. One of the things that I'm learning right now, because I'm really in my first year of business, I've been out of the women's small business cycle for 2 years now. I had kind of a soft opening with My Daddy's Caddy last year, and this year I decided to really go for it and really put the money and invest in marketing. And I've found that everything I thought I knew about my business was totally wrong. And I've had to kind of relearn a little bit more about who I'm marketing to. I originally thought that my market would be mostly females or driven by the she economy. I found out that that is actually not the case. It's actually male driven. So there's just those kinds of things. It's just one example. And I think the other thing that I really hold on to dearly from my cycle, again, is a notion of community. My cycle and my cycle mates, I don't know, members, what do you call them? My cohorts and I from Cycle 47 very much stay in touch still and are more like friends. And I remember going to one of my first Chamber of Commerce events, trying to represent my business, and one of the men there told me, "Caroll, don't show up here looking for business, trying to be a business owner." He said, "Come here looking for friends." And that's actually what I would probably advise to anyone that is joining the Women's Small Business Program, is understanding that your cycle is going to be more than just your cycle mates, your cohorts. They could possibly very well turn into very close friends. And that is one of the things that I feel is also a wonderful gift that I've been given through going through the Women's Small Business Program, that's been completely unexpected, and an unexpected gift. And I'm really grateful for it. And without their support, I don't really know where I would be. Like, their little bits of wisdom through sitting down and going out for burgers afterwards, or on the phone, or in class, One of my classmates actually gave me the best idea for my marketing strategy with my daddy's Caddy. She told me one day that my car was its own billboard, and from there I was able to create my car into a billboard that I park downtown with a little sign and pamphlets and cards, and really people always comment to me that the car, literally every time they look at it, there's always people looking at it, that it does not go unseen, and it's just those little things that I never thought would be as valuable as they have been. So.